Hello everyone, this is Melanie from Lightbeam's Treasures and Curiosity. This is another What's Sold on eBay video. In addition to that, I am going to be exploring a question that's been on my mind, and that is social media healthy for my personal business well-being? Well, if you like these videos, if you want to see more content, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button below, hit the thumbs up below, throw me a comment. Answer some questions. Tell me what you think and how this affects you as well. So, in regards to eBay, sales for me personally have been horrible. I'm a little upset considering that eBay is the bulk of a lot of my income and a source of my income, and the fact that sales have been garbage, not a good sign. Now, I know there are many factors on that, and I know there are things that I can do to fix it and alleviate. But the one big thing I have been doing is I have been putting auction after auction after auction. I put a total of 59 auctions over the past 2 days. So I'm hoping with that boost of auctions that maybe I'll start seeing some sales. In fact, one of these sales that I'm going to show you, because unfortunately I only made 2 sales, that's it. But one of these sales I put up yesterday and boom, sold it immediately. So the first thing I want to show you, and I actually had this one up for quite some time, but I'm so happy it finally sold. It is a big book. It is Understanding Diagnostic Tests in the Childbearing Year, a holistic guide to evaluating the health of mother and baby, 6th edition by Anne Fry, Holistic Midwifery. So just so you could take a look at that book. I don't know why it has like some sort of peeling cover, but I did explain that in the book. Other than that, the book is in crisp, clean condition. So it is a textbook. I live in a college town, so it is amazing the amount of books that I get for free, the amount of textbooks I get. So what I do is I put them up for sale, see how they do. This particular book sold for $17. Freebie book sold for $17. What better way? The next book, I actually got a huge collection of quilting. And I was reading up each individual quilting book, and prices wasn't even worth it. So I thought to myself, what happens if I take a bundle of books, just bundle it up and slap it for $20? It's similar to what I do to my $10 10 Christian religious book special. But in this case, because they're bigger books, they're heavier, I figured, okay, what happens if I just take 10 books and slap a $20 price tag on it? And I actually separated into about 5 lots yesterday, which that took a lot of time because I had to list each, like when I described the lot, I actually list each book with all the information. So that's why it took a little time. But this particular one, oh, let me grab this because it's a little heavy, is a collection of all types of quilting books. I mean, we have, let's see, we have Quilting Back to Front, How to Quilt, Color Magic, Scrap Quilts. There's a big book called Trapunto Quilting, Speed Cut Quilting, Speed Quilting. I sold this entire lot, put it up yesterday. It's actually lot number 2, and I sold that for $20. Now, obviously, it's free shipping. Shipping on this, it's heavy. Probably going to cost about $8, so I'm still going to make a $12 profit. I'm very happy on that, and I'm hoping those other quilting collections that I have will go as well. So that's it. That's all I sold on eBay. Not good, not good. So I'm hoping, like I said, with those sales and with all the products that I put up yesterday, hopefully there'll be a boost of sales. But the question that I have, and I know this is so early in my social media career, it really is. I mean, I've been on Facebook for over 10 years, but as far as using social media for my business, I'm at my early stages. And this is a question for me personally that I want to carry out throughout my whole journey as I grow my business and as I develop. Because I really believe that this question does affect everything. And the question I have is social media healthy for my personal well-being in regards to my business. Now, I joined a couple of Facebook groups that are involving resellers, thrifters, all kinds of things. And you know something? There is a wealth of information. It is an amazing group, and there's a few of them. I'm not going to name any specific groups because I'm part of so many. But there are amazing groups where basically instantly, if you ask a question, you will have an answer immediately. And I like to use those groups as a source of information. I mean, there are questions like, can anybody identify this product? Can anybody identify this maker mark and stuff like that? When you can do that in a social media aspect and get an instantaneous answer, that is amazing. Then you have people who talk about policy updates, changes, laws, things like that. That is so important because things are going to be changing constantly. Laws are going to change, policies, how a site runs things. That's informative information that's needed. But then you get down to buyer shaming and seller shaming. And I think that's the part that I'm going to focus on right now. Now, I am totally guilty of buyer shaming. I will admit that I used to on Facebook all the time write a daily post in retail. And what I would do is put the most ridiculous, funny customers. In fact, a couple of my videos even highlight some of those crazy customers because you know something? It's funny, it's entertaining, it's something to look back at. But at the same time, if I was that customer, would I necessarily want to be made fun of, bullied, shamed, laughed at in such a way? Not necessarily. I mean, it's one thing for me to laugh at myself, it's another thing for other people to laugh at me. And I guarantee there are people out there totally laughing at me. They're probably saying, who is this girl? She has practically no followers, very small following, thinks she owns eBay, knows what she's doing, she's wearing little ears. I mean, people are laughing at me. That is okay. I'm putting myself out there. I'm preparing for that. But I question myself, is it necessarily healthy for my business? Is it healthy for my well-being? Now, on a business aspect, I strongly believe that using social media will help enhance your business, enhance your confidence, enhance everything that it gets your face out there. On a mental aspect, you have so many issues and problems and stresses and strains and all these things going on in life that sometimes finding that balance between having fun, crossing a line, maybe that's something we should be thinking about. When we're in a Facebook group, when we're in a social setting, and this is not just for retailers, this is for everybody, but when we're in a social setting, are we necessarily being the best person we can be to others? Are we being nice? Are we being sarcastic? Are we being friendly? What type of person are we being perceived as by others? It's hard for people to admit to themselves that maybe others don't see them the way they see themselves. I often ask myself, I see myself to be this happy, confident, bubbly person. In fact, that's why the name Light, because I feel like when I come into the room, I light up a room, I bring great energy into the room, and that people just generally see me as this beam of light. That's where the name Light Beam came from. But then it dawned on me that some people tell me I'm very, very negative. I'm very cynical. I'm very, like, and I had to think about that. And I'm like, is that true? Am I really a negative person? Do I really look at the negative things instead of the positive things? So that's one of the balances that I want to work on. And I'm wondering if Facebook and social media and the interactions that I get from these types of sites, is it helpful or not? I recently took a study. Now, I can't talk about the study, but the study did look at how does social media affect your personal well-being? And I was pretty surprised with the results, which I can't talk about the results, I can't talk about the study, but I guess that's what's bringing me to this question. Now, the other part about it is I talked about buyer shaming. I also talked about seller shaming, because a lot of times what happens is a seller will ask a question and they really rip apart the seller because of that question. And sometimes it could be just a newbie question. It could be something that maybe they didn't understand. But why rip apart? I mean, from my point of view, there's a reason somebody's asking you a question. Does it really cost you anything to answer it correctly? I mean, okay, if you feel that it does cost too much time and effort, then skip over it because somebody else will answer it. But at the same time, I find a lot of sellers will post an item and say, oh, I see this item on sale. Should I get it? And you know something? I almost want to say to them, just get the item. Buy it. Because you know something? That is a learning experience. Why rely so heavily on the thoughts and opinions of others? They're not walking in your shoes. They don't know what you're going to do. They don't know what your market is or your demographic or how you do your business. So why rely on them? Make the decision, because if you make the right decision, guess what? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You make the wrong decision, then you are teaching yourself what not to do in the future. And I think experience and personal discovery is sometimes the best teacher, as opposed to just flat out asking somebody to run your life and lead your life. And I say it that way because that's what I feel social media has turned into, is that people will ask each other how to live. And instead, they're not living. They're not taking the chances. They're asking everybody, how should I live? What choices should I make? And they're not taking those choices and making them their own. So I know this was a little thought-provoking, and I know this will be a question that will run through my mind quite frequently. But for now, this is Melanie from Lightbeam's Treasures and Curiosities. I actually have to go to a thrift store that I'm going to help clean up because it is thrift store weekend. So we're going to see what happens. I'm going to have a very busy day today. So hopefully when I'm done cleaning the thrift store, I will have some mini sales and mini stories and many wonderful things. So with that, have a great day, everybody. Enjoy.